Hi, thanks for tuning into the Nutritionist Basket. This is Lucia Oliverio, and I'm a nutritionist who believes that we have the power to heal ourselves from some of the health issues that we face through food. I also believe that eating foods in its purest form, the way God created them, will work in perfect harmony with the way He created our bodies. First, let me thank you, everybody who liked my video last week and who also subscribed. So please make sure this week, if you didn't get a chance to subscribe last week, that you hit subscribe, and that's the subscribe button right down here. Go ahead and subscribe because I'm aiming for 100 subscribers so that I can have my own YouTube channel. So I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I love the likes, and I also love the feedback that you guys gave me, so please continue. If you want to go ahead and write any comments today, go ahead and write those comments down below, and I will try to get back in touch with you. So today I'm going to be talking about protein. Protein is often misunderstood. Some people believe that eating protein equals more muscle. Let's look at an athlete, for example. They stay away from carbs, and so they have a protein shake for breakfast, maybe a piece of chicken for lunch with very few vegetables. And what ends up happening is that our athlete's performance is compromised because our athlete didn't eat enough carbohydrates to fuel the exercising muscles, and those muscles is what was compromised. Not only is this scenario true for athletes, but healthy individuals as well. So protein's really important, but it can't be more important at the expense of not including carbohydrates. So let's talk about protein. Protein is an indispensable nutrient, and it can be found in every tissue in our body. So protein must be consumed because our body has no way of getting rid of it. There is at least 10,000 different types of protein that God has created in order to build our body, maintain, and repair itself. He's done this by providing the genetic code as a blueprint for our bodies to build these proteins from essential and non-essential amino acids. Protein is a vital source of energy, but most important, the function of protein is building and repairing tissue. So what else do we need protein for? Well, protein helps our immune function. It helps transporting vitamins and minerals throughout our body. It's a source of energy, as I mentioned earlier. It can help us in our weight management. It's also essential in the creation of an acid-base balance in our body. It helps in the production of enzymes. Proteins are also found in our muscles, and they're also necessary for muscular contraction. So for proteins to function, the body needs a daily supply of amino acids to make new proteins. Our bodies have the ability to store fat. We also have the ability to store small amounts of carbohydrates in our muscles and in our liver, but we can't store protein. If we don't replenish protein on a daily basis, we will lose protein from other parts of our body. And any loss of protein can represent a loss of any one of the functions that I previously mentioned. So protein is derived from amino acids, and there are 20 amino acids. There are 11 non-essential amino acids, and these aren't referred to as non-essential because our body doesn't need them, but since our body is able to create them, we don't need to supply our body with these sources. These complete proteins can be found in animal sources, soy, and even quinoa. The other 9 essential amino acids cannot be created by our body, so we need to add them into our diet. And these incomplete proteins often consist of food combinations such as beans and rice, peanut butter on whole wheat bread, or even corns and beans in order to become a complete protein. So how do we know how much protein we need? Well, a healthy adult needs 0.8 grams per kilogram of our ideal body weight. So how do we figure that out? First, we need to take our pounds and convert it into kilograms. So let's use the example of an individual who is 150 pounds. In order to convert it into kilograms, we need to divide 150 pounds into 2.2, and that'll give us 68.18 kilograms of body weight. Now we take that 68.1 kilograms of body weight and we multiply it by the 0.8 grams, giving us 54.5 grams of protein per day. So if we eat 3 meals a day and a snack, that's about 13.5 grams of protein per meal that we eat. Now, if you're an athlete though, it's going to require a different amount of protein. If you're an endurance athlete, instead of the 0.8, you're looking at 1.2 to 1.4 grams per day. And if you're a strength athlete, you're looking at about 1.6 to 1.8 grams of protein per day. Now, if your body has some damaged tissue and you need to do some building and repairing, then the protein is going to increase anywhere from 1.5 to 2 grams per day. So the key point to remember here is that protein is very important for your body, and to try to incorporate protein in every meal and even in snacks. And remember, excess protein does not translate into increased muscle, but it can contribute to obesity. So if you consume more than your body requires, those excess calories will convert into body fat. So what we're going to do today is we're going to make a dish called chicken parmesan, and it's got about a breast of chicken is 30 grams of protein. So it's well within what we need for almost half of our day for most people. It's a quick and easy recipe. You can prepare it ahead of time. It has lots of flavor, and of course it's a healthy lean protein. And then we're also going to incorporate a carbohydrate of a green salad with a homemade dressing and asparagus. So let's get started. So what we're going to do now is we're going to prepare our chicken breast. And so I have a lean chicken breast here, and what we need to do is we need to pound it out to make it even, because there's always a thicker end and then a thinner end, and I want it to evenly cook. Let's go ahead and get our grill started. So what we need to do is take a piece of saran wrap, plastic wrap, cover our chicken, and then you want to get a mallet or even a rolling pin, or you can even use a frying pan for that matter. And we want to kind of pound out our chicken, kind of even it out. Okay, so once we've pretty much got it even, we can go ahead and take the top part of our plastic wrap off. And we want to season with some pepper. I like to use freshly ground pepper. We don't want to season with salt because we're going to be using some other ingredients here that are high in salt. We want to take a lemon and just kind of give it the zest of that lemon all over our chicken breast. And if you have any herbs that you like, you can also add some rosemary, some thyme, or parsley, and that gives a nice fresh flavor also. And once we get our lemon zest on there, now we want to take some Parmesan cheese, and we want to just sprinkle some of that Parmesan cheese on. And again, if you are on a diet and you can't eat a lot of the fat because it is a high-fat Parmesan cheese, you can not put on as much, but you need a little bit of it, because what this is going to do is it's going to add the glue to our prosciutto. And if you haven't had prosciutto, it's a very thin Italian ham, and it's been cured with salt, and it's very thin, so it does kind of come apart, so you have to be very careful. And now we just go ahead and lay our prosciutto on top. I'm going to add another slice. And this is going to add a lot of flavor, and it is going to kind of make the chicken crispy. Now when you buy prosciutto, you want to make sure that you read the ingredient label and that it is cured in salt. You don't want a prosciutto that is cured in nitrates, or you don't want one that says nitrate free, because even though it says nitrate free, the reaction with the celery salt or celery juice that they're using actually increases the nitrates more than if they just use the nitrate themselves. So the best way is the old-fashioned way that they used to do back in the day of just plain old salt. So make sure that there's salt when they cure your prosciutto. Okay, now at this point, your chicken is ready. You can actually, if you want, just put the saran back over and prepare this, for later on in the day when you come home from work, or you can freeze it at that point. But it's ready to go. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put just a hint of olive oil in the bottom of our pan, and we're going to take this and we're going to put the prosciutto side down, and we just want that to cook for about 4 to 6 minutes until it gets nice and crisp, and then we'll go and flip it on the other side to cook the other side. I love this chicken. I think it's great. So it looks like it's crisp now, so now I'm going to go ahead and flip our chicken, and we're just going to cook the other side. And you can see how it made a nice caramelization with that prosciutto. And it just adds a lot of flavor, and like I said, there is salt in there, so we didn't need to add the extra salt as well as with the Parmesan cheese. So now we're just going to give it about 4 minutes on this side, and we will then get ready to saute our asparagus. Okay, so it looks like the other side of our chicken breast is done, so we're going to remove that from the frying pan, and I've got some beautiful asparagus that I'm going to actually add to my frying pan. And I just want to steam them a little, so all I do is just add a little bit of chicken broth with those juices from the chicken that I just made, and I'm just going to let these kind of saute for a little bit. And the other thing I can do too is the lemon that we used, I will squeeze some of the lemon juice in there just to kind of give it a nice little bit of a flavor. So we're just going to let that saute for a couple minutes, and of course this we will add just a little bit of salt. So as we can see, most of the liquid is absorbed. It's been a few minutes. Now we're just going to take our asparagus and plate them on our plate. So as we can see, we've got a healthy and delicious meal that didn't take very long to prepare. The other thing I like to do with my chicken breast is serve some lemon slices and just squirt some lemon juice on top of the prosciutto. I also made a homemade dressing, and it's really good if you can get in the habit of making your own dressing because they're a lot more healthier for you and less sugar. This is an apple dressing that I made, and so usually when you make your own vinaigrettes, it's a 3-to-1 portion. So it's 1 part apple juice, apple cider, and 3 parts of olive oil, and I just emulsified it in my blender, and so that's why it looks so nice and creamy with just a little salt and pepper. So again, it's really great when you can make your own salad dressings. You have a lot more control of the ingredients, and so you can see this meal is perfect. We've got 1/4 of our plate with our protein. Some of us maybe have been accustomed to half of our plate consisting of protein, but only 1/4 of our plate. We've already figured out how to calculate how much protein we need on a daily basis. Plus 3/4 of our plate is carbohydrates, and again, carbohydrates are an important component with our protein so that they work together. And of course we have our healthy dressing that I made. Again, if you want to make a vinaigrette, it's a 3-to-1. 1 part your vinaigrette, and I used a combination of apple juice and apple cider vinegar and 3 parts olive oil with some salt and pepper and some seasoning. And it looks nice and creamy because I did it in my blender, and the emulsification in the blender is what created this creaminess. So I hope that this is a dish that you try and that you will enjoy and find how quick and easy and delicious it is. So I hope you learned something new today, and you learned how you can incorporate protein with carbohydrates into your lifestyle for a healthier diet. I also hope you understand the importance of protein, and remember that man cannot create a better food or a system better than the way God created it. So if you have any comments, please feel free to add them below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the button if you haven't had a chance. And again, thanks for tuning in to the Nutritionist Basket, and we'll see you at the next lesson. God bless.